Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering a woke meltdown. Humiliated CBS host Gayle King says wokeism is truthism. Of course, no, it's not. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate you guys. Coming from Fox News, CBS's Gayle King says wokeism is truthism to her, and she's annoyed by the word becoming a pejorative. She does not like how woke is embarrassing now. King says it drives me crazy to hear criticism of CRT-influenced history courses in Florida. CRT, of course, critical race theory. CBS Mornings host Gayle King blasted the use of the term wokeism as a pejorative used to describe radical left-wing beliefs, claiming she sees it as truthism instead. King made the comments in context of correspondent Lisa King's Tuesday story about Florida banning a CRT-influenced advanced placement African American history course taught earlier this year. And we will cover what's actually in this African American Studies course for high schools. So you can judge for yourself if you think it's appropriate or not, and if you think it's woke or not. Maybe you agree with Gayle King. Either way, it ain't getting taught in Florida. King made the comments in context of correspondent Lisa Ling's Tuesday story about Florida banning a CRT-influenced advanced placement African American history course earlier this year. After the report, King had plenty to say in defense of the course and woke ideas in general, equating them with truth. Quote, "I know it's so sad to me now that the word wokeism has now almost become weaponized," King said. "It's really missing the point about what's being taught here. You know, I don't look at it as wokeism so much as truthism." She has no idea what she's talking about, but we'll cover it here. Maybe she'll see the video and then she'll know. The host continued saying that concerns over these classes being woke are overblown, adding, quote, "And I think if people would take the time to really see what is happening in these classes and what is being taught. Nowhere are we trying to say anybody is trying to say hate white people. It drives me crazy when I hear that, Lisa." Wait till you see what they teach in these classes. Co-host Nate Burleson then claimed, quote, "Gayle, wokeism is just misleading the future generations from learning about our history." To which King replied, yes. Ling's segment painted the Florida government's decision as unjustified, as did King, who slammed the critics of the course for calling it woke, arguing that the term has been weaponized to discredit the class and the progressive beliefs taught in them. Yes, because nobody needs progressive ideology being taught in schools. You can go learn that outside of schools. It's not appropriate for classrooms. And of course, it starts in these advanced placement courses, which didn't even belong in advanced placement, just like they said with critical race theory. What are you doing with critical race? Critical race theory was supposed to only be taught as some theoretical concept of systemic racism in law schools. Now it's in high schools and it's in preschools and kindergarten material. It doesn't belong there. The Florida Department of Education compelled course creator, the College Board, to cut much of the content associated with Black Lives Matter, the queer experience, and other topics that were deemed controversial found in the course. Arkansas's Department of Education banned the same course from its state schools this past August. It's scary to think these courses are not being banned in other states. Ling's segment appeared to discount conservative critics of the AP course. In her introduction, she said, quote, "AP African American Studies is at its core a history course, tracing the Black experience from early African kingdoms to slavery and the civil rights movement through today. It's drawn fire from some GOP officials who say it's an example of wokeism infiltrating education." Elsewhere in the report, Ling praised the AP course after experiencing some of it herself, saying, "What I experienced here, though, was much more nuanced. It was so much more humanized, and some in this country seem to have a problem with that." She also dinged Florida for demanding it be amended. In January, Florida banned it, writing the course was inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value. This is Manny Diaz Jr. Manny Diaz Jr. is the Commissioner of Education for Florida, and he will let you know what's actually in this course. Here's a tweet that he sent. Despite the lies from the Biden White House, Florida rejected an AP course filled with critical race theory and other obvious violations of Florida law. We proudly require the teaching of African American history. We do not accept woke indoctrination masquerading as education. Manny, what are you talking about? What's actually in these courses? Is it woke? Is it CRT? Why would it be inappropriate? Well, he provided this helpful graphic so we can go through it today. Concerns found with College Board submitted AP African American Studies course. Here are the topics that the Commissioner of Education of Florida cites as problems for teaching in Florida high schools. Topic 4.15. Intersectionality and activism. Isn't intersectionality some kind of sexual thing? What does that have to do with history? Intersectionality is foundational to CRT and ranks people based on their race, wealth, gender, and sexual orientation. No, you can't rank people and say these people are more important than those people, and this person should have this position in society based on their race or their sexuality. We don't want that taught in schools. It's contrary to the Constitution of the United States. Topic 4.19. Black queer studies. What does queerness have to do with education, or what does queerness have to even do with history? Included reading in the course. Roderick Ferguson, who exclaims, quote, "We have to encourage and develop practices where queerness isn't a surrender to the status quo of race, class, gender, and sexuality." There's sexuality again. It means building forms of queerness that reject the given realities of the government and the market. Why are you going to reject the government? That is not something that needs to be taught in high schools. Topic 4.29, Movements for Black Lives. Movements for Black Lives is an organization with stated objectives that include eliminating prisons and jails, ending pretrial detention, and concluding, quote, "the war on Black, trans, queer, gender nonconforming, and intersex people." Doesn't that sound a little ideological? Does that sound historical to you? Let me know in the comments below. Topic 4.16, Black feminist literary thought. Black feminist literary. Aren't we supposed to be doing a history course here? Here's included reading. Bell Hooks, author of many intersectionality texts, and in the recommended reading states, quote, "I began to use the phrase in my work, white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, because I wanted to have some language that would actually remind us continually of the interlocking systems of domination that define our reality." This is all ideological, complete garbage that does not belong near any public school system. Topic 4.30, the reparations movement. All points and resources in this study advocate for reparations. There is no critical perspective or balancing opinion in this lesson. And finally, topic 4.31, Black Study and Black Struggle in the 21st Century. Included reading, Robin D.G. Kelly argues that activism, rather than the university system, is the catalyst for social transformation. Kelly's first book was a study of Black communists in Alabama. Kelly warns that simply establishing safe spaces and renaming campus buildings does nothing to overthrow capitalism. No, we shouldn't be studying overthrowing capitalism in a capitalist society. If you overthrow capitalism, you can forget all of your constitutional rights. You'll have none of them, and it won't be such a great society. In any event, that's my opinion, but hey, this is not African American history. These are people who may be African American. This does not speak to the history of any kind of a people's. This is ideological subversion, and it's at the heart of pushing a woke agenda. And here's the danger of pushing a woke agenda. There's obviously been this new war started in Israel with the Israel-Hamas war. Recently, Black Lives Matter Chicago sent out a tweet promoting the terrorist act on Israel by Hamas. Now, when you have a war, you have a conflict, people have different points of view. Of course, there's never one side to any situation. But when there's a terrorist attack, there really is one side to the situation. So you have to wonder and say, why is Black Lives Matter sending out any kind of support for people that just committed really terrible terrorist attacks? They're indefensible, and there's no one in the news who is putting out a successful narrative even to try to say, oh, well, they deserve the attack. It's not landing anywhere. There's no momentum behind that. The answer is, unfortunately, this concept of attacking colonizers like they did in South Africa, like Hamas is doing in Israel, like Black Lives Matter refers to people in the United States pretty openly. It's a dangerous idea, and they're always going to be associated with colonizers until they disavow that concept. And fundamentally, this concept of equity does not fit with equality. Equity fits with, we want to identify a certain race or group of people as colonizers, and we want to exact revenge on those colonizers in any way we want to. So when you see a known group like Black Lives Matter Chicago associating with and promoting attacks, it does get other people a little bit uncomfortable that maybe this is not a completely legitimate organization. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.